You ever notice how some like really amazing ideas just disappear? Like Betamax, maybe?
Mm.
Supposedly better tech,
Oh, yeah.
but VHS totally took over.
Okay.
And then you get, I don't know, pet rocks or something completely random, and suddenly they're everywhere.
Right. Makes no sense sometimes.
It really makes you wonder, what is the secret? Why do some things catch on and others just fizzle out?
Well, it's a puzzle, for sure.
Yeah.
But thankfully, Jonah Berger, he's a marketing professor over at Wharton.
Ah, okay.
He actually dug into this exact question, wrote a book called Contagious, Why Things Catch On.
Contagious. I like that.
Yeah, and it's not just guesswork. He analyzed tons of stuff, viral articles from the New York Times, YouTube hits, even like baby names and car buying habits.
Oh.
A huge amount of research.
Okay, so he's got the data. And for everyone listening, our mission here today in this deep dive is really to pull out the practical stuff from Berger's work.
Exactly. Actionable insights.
Yeah, things you can actually use, whether you're, trying to get an idea off the ground, market something, or honestly, just understand why certain trends blow up. We want to give you those aha moments, those surprising facts, but quick and clear, no dense academic talk.
Spot on. And Berger, he breaks it down into 6 core principles.
Uh-huh.
He calls them STEP PS. It's an acronym.
STEP PPS. Okay, got it.
STEPPS stands for social currency, triggers, emotion, public, practical value, and stories.
Nice.
And today we're going to unpack those and really see how they offer strategies you can actually apply. Let's jump in.
Let's do it. First up, social currency. So this isn't just about like showing off, right?
Well, not entirely, no.
Mhm.
It's more about people share things that make them look good,
Okay.
like knowledgeable or interesting or part of an in crowd. Think about knowing the best hidden gem restaurant. Telling people about it gives you a little status.
Right. You're the person with the inside scoop. Berger has an example, doesn't he? Something about a really expensive cheesesteak.
Oh yeah, the $100 cheesesteak at Barclay Prime in Philly. Classic example.
$100 for a cheesesteak. Wow.
Exactly. And the guy behind it, Howard Wayne, he knew what he was doing. It wasn't just a sandwich. He called it a conversation piece.
A conversation piece.
Yeah. People who ate it said it gave them absurd storytelling rights. Someone else described the ingredients as like eating gold.
So it was designed to be talked about. It had what Berger calls inner remarkability.
Precisely. It was remarkable just by existing. Novel, audacious, you had to talk about it.
And sharing that story, or even just knowing about it, made you seem interesting, right? Like you're in on this exclusive, slightly ridiculous thing.
Totally. It signals something about maybe taste, maybe wealth, maybe just being in the know.
Yeah.
And the media loved it. USA Today, Wall Street Journal,
David Letterman even.
David Letterman, all talking about this crazy expensive sandwich. Even people who'd never dream of buying it were discussing it.
That's the power then. Creating something inherently worth talking about because sharing it boosts the sharer's social standing.
You got it. It taps right into that desire.
Okay, different angle on social currency. This hidden bar in New York, please don't tell.
PDT. Yeah, another brilliant case study. It's literally hidden behind a phone booth inside hot dog place.
No way.
Seriously. And almost zero advertising. The founder, Jim Meehan, basically said, the most powerful marketing is personal recommendation.
So the secrecy is the marketing.
Kind of, yeah. The hidden entrance, the fact that it's hard to get a reservation, it all builds social currency.
Because if you know about it or if you manage to get in,
You feel like an insider, part of a select group. It's exclusive.
it's like that cool kid's secret handshake. You feel special just knowing the secret, let alone getting past the velvet rope or phone booth in this case.
Exactly. That feeling of scarcity and exclusivity makes it more desirable. Berger connects this whole idea to game mechanics, too.
Like video games.
Sort of, but in real life. Think frequent flyer miles.
Oh, okay. Silver, gold, platinum status.
Right. Airlines basically gamified flying. Reaching those tiers wasn't just about getting free bags. It was a status symbol. People would subtly drop their status into conversations.
Oh, definitely. Boarding Group 1 felt like a little victory, didn't it? A public display of your importance as a traveler.
Totally. And remember, Foursquare.
Yeah.
Checking in everywhere.
Oh, man. Foursquare. Yeah. Becoming the mayor of your local coffee shop.
Exactly. Those badges, mayor, jet setter, whatever they were, digital social currency.
Right.
People posted them online. It was like, look what I achieved, even if it was just drinking a lot of coffee.
It really turned mundane stuff into a bit of a social competition. How can I look interesting or accomplished today?
It makes you think, right?
Yeah.
How can you build in elements of status or achievement? Maybe not actual badges, but ways for people to feel special, recognized.
Yeah, that makes sense. What about those flash sale websites? Rue la la.
Good one. That's about exclusivity again. Members-only access, sales that only last a few hours.
Creates that urgency, FOMO, fear of missing out.
Big time. And when you snagged a great deal, you felt smart, like an insider. You wanted to tell people, partly to brag, partly because it felt like valuable info.
Okay, so exclusivity. And then there's the McRib. How does that fit in?
Huh. The McRib, a masterclass in manufactured scarcity, creating social currency.
Manufactured scarcity.
Well, think about it. Berger points out it's made from less glamorous ingredients. Tripe, heart, and stomach meat.
Okay. Maybe you don't need the details.
Right. But McDonald's makes it a cult classic by only offering it sometimes, in some places.
So the fact that it's hard to find makes people want it more.
Totally. People track it online with McRib locators. Finding one becomes an event, something to talk about, to post about. It's social currency built purely on being elusive.
That's wild. So the takeaway for us, the actionable bit, is how do you build that inner remarkability?
Yeah, or leverage game mechanics, or create that feeling of exclusivity or scarcity.
It's about finding what makes people feel good, feel smart, feel in the know when they talk about your thing.
That's the core of social currency.
Okay, moving on. Steppy 2. Triggers. This is about memory. Staying top of mind.
Pretty much. The core idea is simple. Top of mind, tip of tongue.
Right.
Things that are easily recalled are more likely to be talked about. It's about linking your product or idea to common cues in the environment.
Cues? Like what?
Well, Berger gives the Mars bar example. Sales apparently went up during the NASA Pathfinder mission to Mars.
Wait, the candy bar isn't named after the planet, is it?
Nope. But the constant news about the planet Mars acted as a trigger, putting the idea of Mars, and thus the candy bar, top of mind. Subconscious link.
Wow, okay. That's subtle.
Very. And it's not just names. Remember that study about music in supermarkets?
Vaguely. French music, French wine?
That's the one. Play French accordion music and sales of French wine go up. Play German music, German wine sales increase. The music is an environmental trigger.
So you're just walking down the aisle, humming along, and boom, you're suddenly craving Riesling.
Pretty much. But triggers don't even need to be liked to work. There was this health campaign slogan.
Uh-oh. Sounds boring already.
It kind of was. About eating 5 fruits and veggies a day. One version was generic, live healthy. The other was tied to a trigger. Each and every dining hall tray needs 5 fruits and veggies a day.
Tied to the tray itself. Clever. But did students like it?
Hated it. They thought the tray slogan was super cheesy, way less appealing, said it wouldn't affect them.
What?
But the students who saw the tray slogan actually ate 25% more fruits and vegetables.
No way. Even though they disliked it.
Yeah, because every time they picked up a tray, a frequent trigger, the message was reinforced. It was effective because of the trigger, not despite being cheesy.
That's huge. So a message doesn't have to be cool or clever necessarily. It just needs to be linked to something people encounter often.
Exactly. Being frequently triggered beats being momentarily interesting sometimes. Berger uses this pirate analogy.
A pirate.
Yeah, like someone dressing as a pirate is interesting. Right. But how often do you think about pirates in daily life? Not often. So the story doesn't get retold much.
Okay.
Compared to something boring but common like Ziploc bags. People use them all the time. So even if talking about Ziploc isn't thrilling, the opportunity to talk about them comes up way more often because the trigger, using bags, packing lunch, is frequent.
So frequency matters more than flashiness for ongoing talk. It's about being recalled regularly.
Right. And get this, even negative attention can work as a trigger.
How so? Like bad reviews.
Yeah. Berger mentions how bad New York Times reviews actually increase sales for unknown authors.
It caught.
Because it put the book on people's radar. Even negative buzz made it top of mind. Any publicity, in some cases.
He mentioned that wine too, right? The one that smelled like...
redolent of stinky socks, I think was the description.
That's it. And sales increase.
And the shake weight.
Yeah.
Massively mocked, but it sold millions. The ridicule kept it in the conversation.
Okay, so negative attention isn't always bad if it acts as a trigger. What about creating new triggers?
Yeah, he calls it the poison parasite strategy, like that anti-smoking campaign that mimicked the Marlboro Man ads.
Oh, right. Linking the Marlboro image to, like, coughing or illness.
Yeah, they hijacked Marlboro's existing trigger, their iconic ads, and attached a negative health message to it. Very clever.
And frequency is key here, too, right? Like Kit Kat and coffee.
Perfect example. Kit Kat linking themselves to coffee breaks is way more effective than linking to, say, hot chocolate breaks.
Because people drink coffee way more often, the trigger is more frequent.
Bingo. So the actionable takeaway for listeners: think hard about your audience's daily routine. What are their common environments? What triggers exist there?
And how can you link your idea or message to those frequent triggers so it keeps popping into their head?
That's the goal for using triggers effectively.
Okay, third step EP, emotion. This one feels intuitive. When we care, we share.
It's incredibly powerful, yeah. Our feelings are a huge driver of what we pass on.
Think about it. You share things that make you laugh or angry or amazed.
Absolutely. Berger looked at the most emailed articles from the Wall Street Journal. What kind of content do you think got shared most?
Maybe useful stuff. Or shocking news.
Useful stuff did well, but articles that inspired awe were huge sharers.
Like wonder.
Yeah, stories about scientific breakthroughs, incredible human achievements, things that just make you go, wow. That feeling of awe makes people want to share the experience.
That makes sense. You get that little shiver of amazement, and you want someone else to feel it too.
Exactly. And Berger clarifies it's not just about positive versus negative emotion. The key factor is arousal.
Arousal. Explain that.
Physiological arousal. Basically, how activated or fired up an emotion makes you feel. High arousal emotions like excitement, amusement, anger, anxiety, those are the ones that really drive sharing.
Compared to low arousal ones like
Right.
contentment or sadness.
Right. Those tend to make us more introspective, less likely to immediately reach out and share. High arousal jolts us into action.
Okay, so high energy emotions, positive or negative, fuel sharing, like being really angry.
Definitely. Think about the United Breaks guitars guy, Dave Carroll.
Oh, yeah. The musician whose guitar got smashed by the airline.
That's him. United gave him the runaround, refused to pay. So he wrote that song, made a video.
And it went massively viral.
Because his anger, his frustration was so palpable and relatable. It was high arousal, negative emotion, and it resonated. People shared it out of empathy, out of shared frustration with bad service.
It really tapped into something universal. And Berger says marketing often gets this wrong, right? Too focused on facts.
Yeah, just listing features isn't enough. You need to connect emotionally. He loves that Google Parisian love ad.
Oh, the one that tells a love story through Google searches.
That's it. It wasn't about search algorithms. It was about love, life milestones, connection, the emotions that Google helps facilitate. It reminded people why they felt good about using Google.
Such a powerful way to tell a story. How do you find that emotional core, though?
Berger suggests the 3 whys technique. Keep asking, why is this important? About your idea or product. Drill down past the features to the fundamental human need or feeling it addresses.
Like peeling an onion to get to the center. Why? Why?
Exactly. And once you find that emotional core, amplify the high arousal emotions. Excitement, humor, anger, anxiety.
Yeah.
Even disgust can work.
Disgust. Really?
Remember that anti-soda PSA? The one showing a guy drinking a big glob of fat?
Ugh. Yes.
Yeah.
Viscerally unpleasant.
Totally.
Yeah.
But that disgust is a high arousal emotion. It made people talk, share the shock value. It was memorable and shareable because it was disgusting.
Okay, point taken.
Yeah.
But you have to be careful with emotion, right? It can backfire.
Oh, absolutely. The Motrin mommy blogger incident is a perfect cautionary tale.
What happened there?
Motrin ran an ad about the pains of baby wearing, trying to be empathetic, but the tone came across as dismissive or condescending to many moms.
No.
Yeah, the mommy bloggers reacted with outrage, ridicule, high arousal, negative emotion directed at Motrin. It was a PR disaster because they misjudged their audience's emotional response.
Shows how crucial it is to really get your audience's feelings.
Definitely. And one last weird finding on arousal: even physical activity can boost sharing.
Like
Yeah, a study found people were more likely to share an article after jogging in place for a minute.
get your heart rate up, get more talkative. That's wild.
The link between physical and emotional arousal is fascinating. So the insight: find the core emotion of your message. Then focus on amplifying high arousal feelings, excitement, humor, awe, anger to make people care enough to share.
Got it. Emotion. When we care, we share. Next up, public. Step E4. This is about visibility.
Exactly. Built to show, built to grow. The core idea is that the more public something is, the the more likely people are to imitate it and the more it will spread.
Because we often look to others to figure out what to do, right? Social proof.
Precisely. If we can't see what others are doing or choosing, it's hard for trends to catch on.
Mm.
Berger uses Movember as a prime example.
Movember, the mustaches for men's health in November.
Right. It started small, but the genius was taking a private act, supporting a charity, and making it incredibly visible.
Through the mustaches themselves.
Yeah. Those stashes turned wearers into, as Berger says, walking, talking billboards for the cause all month long.
It sparked conversations everywhere. Why the mustache made the cause impossible to ignore. Brilliant, really.
And some things are just designed to be public from the start, like early Hotmail.
With a little link at the bottom of every email, get your free email from Hotmail.
Yep. Every single email sent was an advertisement. Built-in public visibility. Genius.
And Apple's white earbuds.
Classic example.
Mm-hmm.
Back when most headphones were black, those white cords screamed, "I have an iPod."
You could spot them a mile away. It was instant social proof that the iPod was cool, that people were adopting it. Made you want one too.
It made adoption visible. Then there's behavioral residue.
Behavioral residue, like leftovers.
Kind of the physical traces left behind by actions. Think Livestrong wristbands.
Oh yeah, those yellow bands were everywhere.
Exactly. They were a visible symbol of support for cancer awareness, worn long after the donation. A constant public reminder. Behavioral residue.
Like I voted stickers, maybe.
Perfect example. Voting is private, but the sticker makes participation public. It's a little nudge, social proof that people are voting.
It works. You see those stickers and think, oh, right, I should vote too.
But making things public can sometimes backfire. Berger mentions the petrified forest sign.
What happened there? They tried to stop people taking petrified wood.
Right, but the sign said something like, "Many past visitors have removed petrified wood."
Oh, no. So it basically told people, lots of people steal this stuff.
Exactly. It provided social proof for the undesirable behavior, and theft actually increased. Oops.
Yikes. So you need to be careful what you make public.
Definitely. The actionable insight here is, how can you design your product, idea, or initiative so it advertises itself?
Make it visible.
Yeah. Create positive behavioral residue. Make the desired behavior observable so others can see it and imitate it. Make the private public.
Makes sense. Okay, fifth step PP, practical value, news you can use.
This was pretty straightforward, like you said. People share useful information. Stuff that helps others save time, save money, improve their health, or just make your lives easier.
It's about being helpful. We like sharing tips and advice.
Equally, it makes us feel good, and it strengthens social bonds. Berger starts with that fantastic story about Ken Craig and shucking corn.
The microwave trick, I think I saw that video. Super simple, right?
Incredibly simple. Just a regular guy, homemade video showing this ridiculously easy way to get corn off the cob using a microwave. No mess.
And it went viral. Why?
Pure practical value. It solved a common, annoying little problem. It was useful. People shared it because they knew their friends would appreciate the tip.
Those little life hacks are gold. You feel like you're doing someone a solid by passing them on.
And Berger even tells that funny story about hikers arguing about vacuum cleaners.
Hikers? Vacuum cleaners? Seems random.
It does. But the point is, even seemingly mundane topics become shareable if the information offers real practical value to someone who needs it. Like, if you're genuinely shopping for a vacuum, that hiker's passionate review could be super helpful.
Okay, so usefulness trumps topic sometimes. And saving money is obviously huge practical value.
Massive. Look at Groupon, Living Social.
Mm-hmm.
Their whole business is practical value in the form of discounts.
And people love sharing deals.
Especially good deals. Berger notes that the perceived value matters. A bigger discount, or one that seems surprisingly good, is much more likely to be shared.
Makes sense. You feel like you found a hidden gem, you want to spread the word.
And how we perceive deals is interesting. It's all about the reference point.
The original price.
Yeah. A $250 barbecue grill feels like a better deal if it's marked down from $350 than if it's marked down from $255.
Even though the final price is higher in the first case. Oh, wait, no, $250 for $240. Okay, the saving feels bigger compared to the higher starting point.
Exactly. Infomercials do this all the time. This amazing gadget is worth $200, but call now and get it for just $39.95. They set a high reference point.
Clever. And there's that diminishing sensitivity thing, too.
Right. Saving $5 feels like a big deal on a $20 item, but almost unnoticeable on a $500 TV. The context matters.
So the percentage saving often feels more important than the absolute amount for bigger purchases.
Generally, yeah. And interestingly, making promotions more restrictive, can sometimes make them seem more valuable.
Like limited time only or one per customer.
Exactly. Scarcity and exclusivity can signal that the deal is so good, it has to be limited. It increases the perceived practical value.
Taps into that FOMO again.
And finally, the value needs to be easy to see. A clear 50% off is much more shareable than complex savings hidden in the small print of a receipt.
Keep it simple, make the benefit obvious.
That's the key. So for listeners, how can you clearly highlight the practical value of what you offer? How does it save people time, money, hassle, make that benefit impossible to miss?
Awesome. Okay, last one. Step PP number 6. Stories.
Stories. Maybe the oldest form of sharing information. Berger says information travels under the guise of idle chatter.
Meaning we embed messages within narratives?
Precisely. Think of the Trojan horse itself, a story carrying a hidden payload. Stories are vessels. They carry lessons, morals, information, brand messages.
And they're way more engaging than just facts, right? Like the 3 little pigs.
Perfect example. It's not just a story about pigs and a wolf. It's a memorable lesson about the value of hard work and sturdy construction wrapped in a narrative.
We remember the story, and the lesson comes along for the ride.
Exactly. And stories build trust. Berger tells a story about Land's End customer service, a personal experience. Hearing that anecdote feels much more credible than Land's End just saying, "We have great service."
Because it's a real person's experience. It feels authentic.
Very much so. And think about Jared Fogle and Subway.
The Subway diet guy.
His personal story, losing all that weight, eating their sandwiches, became this incredibly powerful, embedded advertisement for Subway's potential health benefits. The story was the message.
It was relatable, aspirational. It was a narrative people could latch on to.
And Dove's evolution video.
Oh, the one showing the model getting transformed with makeup and Photoshop.
Yeah. That wasn't just a cool video. It was a story about the artificiality of beauty standards in media. That narrative carried Dove's message about real beauty and got shared like crazy because the story itself was compelling and relevant.
It sparked a conversation wrapped around a visual story.
But the story needs to be relevant to the brand or message. Berger calls this valuable virality.
What's an example of not valuable virality?
He mentions goldenpalace.com paying someone to streak at the Olympics with their name painted on.
Yeah.
Sure, it got attention, but the stunt had nothing to do with online casinos. People talked about the streaker, not the casino.
The message got lost. Compared to
those panda cheese commercials from Egypt? Remember those? Where the panda violently objects if someone refuses panda cheese?
Yeah. Yes. Never say no to panda. They were hilarious.
Hilarious. And the brand is integral to the story. You can't retell the joke without mentioning panda cheese. That's valuable virality. The story carries the brand.
The brand is the punchline, almost.
Exactly. Berger also notes how stories change and retelling details get lost, core messages get sharpened, and he tells that amazing, unexpected story about how Vietnamese immigrants came to dominate the U.S. nail salon industry.
That was fascinating. Shows how these narratives and shared skills can spread organically.
It does. So the final actionable insight. Don't just present facts. Wrap your message, your value, your brand identity in a compelling story.
Make it a narrative people want to tell.
And make sure your key message is woven into the fabric of that story so it can't be easily left out when the story is retold.
Wow. Okay, so that's the full STEP PS framework. Social currency, triggers, emotion, public, practical value, and stories.
A really powerful toolkit for understanding why things spread.
It really is. It's not just random chance. There's a science to it. And these aren't just abstract concepts. They give you real levers to pull, whether you're trying to make your own idea catch on or just decode the buzz around you.
And often, the most contagious ideas use several of these STEP PS working together. It's rarely just one thing.
Absolutely. So a final thought for everyone listening. Think about the last thing you shared online or told a friend about, a video, an article, a product, a piece of news. Which of these SEPIES made it contagious for you?
Was it social currency? Did it make you look good? Was it triggered by something? Did it spark a strong emotion?
Was it very public? Did it offer practical value? Or was it just a great story?
Thinking about why you share is a great way to understand what resonates with you and the people you connect with.
And maybe, now that you know a bit more about the science, what are you going to make contagious?
Definitely food for thought.
Sure.
And if you want more, the book Contagious by Jonah Berger is packed with even more examples. It really makes you see the world differently once you start noticing these principles everywhere.
For sure. Start looking for the STEP PS. You'll see them in action all the time.